Hello, welcome. I am so excited to share with you guys today an amazing strategy that has revolutionized my business. So, let me first of all kind of present to you, because I've coached over 300 people around the country now. And here's the cool thing. I mean, there are wrong ways to do this and right ways to do this. So let me give you an example of Tim. Tim, I presented him with all a library of educational classes. He jumped on it. He listened to everyone. He was so excited to learn. But then when it came to actually doing real estate deals, he got analysis paralysis. He was analyzing and overanalyzing everything that came up, and he wasn't taking action. He wasn't getting any deals because by the time he was done analyzing it, he somebody else had came and grabbed the deal from him. So he either talked himself out of it or someone else picked it up. Now, Alan, on the other hand, boy, he did educate himself, which is really important. Learning and educating yourself is crucial. But the big difference is that Alan was out making offers. He would do a quick analysis. I talk a lot about some of my lightning analysis strategies in other sessions. But then he would tie the property up. And at that point, only at that point would he then do due diligence. He would, he'd do some quick due diligence, but he would really get into the hardcore due diligence after getting the property under contract. Sometimes he'd, turn the property back over, get his earnest money check back. But, more often than not, he would execute on that property after doing some extensive analysis. And because of his action mentality, he did 15 deals in his first year, made $250,000. True story of one of the guys that I coached and got started in real estate investing. So, what held Tim up was analysis paralysis. He was afraid of taking action because of the unknown. What if it's not a deal? What if he lost some money? What if, what if, what if? These kinds of worries often paralyze the best intended investors. They're like, yes, I want to get a deal. But then they're like, no, I can't seem to get going because they're over analyzing everything. So, so and here's what they get stuck in. They get stuck in the trap of always getting ready to get ready. They're just constantly waiting and waiting for the next deal to come around, because they're just never quite ready. They have that analysis paralysis. So there's a need in this business for intense, massive action. There's a great quote by a guy named Joan Baez. He says, action is the antidote to despair. If you're feeling discouraged or despairing for whatever reason, you need to just go forward and take some action. You gain so much momentum by taking action. There's a certain energy and enthusiasm that goes along with action that makes you want to take more action. So, the problem with fear, on the other hand, is it holds you back from taking action. The first deal is always the hardest. So, pushing through fear is less frightening than living with fear and its associated helplessness. I love what Susan Jeffers said. She said, feel the fear and do it anyway. Just do it anyway, she said. Don't let it paralyze you into inaction. So that's easier said than done. I'm going to share with you now a strategy that can help you to take action and not be afraid. It's called the ready, fire, aim strategy. Okay, ready, fire, aim. So I'm sure you've heard in the past of the typical way that it's said, ready, aim, fire. Right? I'm sure you've heard of this, right? So this is the pretty typical way that obviously you hold a gun, you aim it and then you fire it. Um, but in this strategy, I'm gonna turn that on its head and show you how to switch up the last two steps as a real estate investor, because that's how you're gonna do stuff as a real estate investor. So let's talk about ready. Okay, you need to be looking for potential deals constantly. When you see one that looks like an option, you do a quick lightning analysis. And again, I'm going to give another session where we're going to talk about the lightning analysis. All right, but ultimately, you you do some quick analysis, see about where you need to be for the deal to work. You ultimately look at the after repair value. And by the way, you don't do this unless the person's expressed some openness to selling, right? Don't just throw, don't do tons of even lightning analysis on deals where you don't even know if the person's going to be open to selling or not, right? So, so once you know the person's at least open to selling, you figure out what you think it could sell for. You multiply that by 0.75 minus the repair costs. At least have a general sense of what you think you could repair it for. And then instead of aiming, which means doing all your due diligence and looking at every last little thing, verifying everything, you're just going to fire. What do I mean by fire? Well, what I mean by fire is you're going to go and get that property under contract. You're going to go and, make an offer to the seller. Now, usually, making an offer, if they accept the offer, then you typically need to give some kind of earnest money deposit, which oftentimes 1% is a good of the purchase price is a good marker. Now, here's the cool thing: if it's a super motivated seller, you don't even need to put that much earnest money down at all. You could even put like $500 down. Oftentimes, they're not really carry. If you're buying something from the multiple listing service, then you're probably going to want to stick with the 1% rule. But here's the thing: you never, never, never send that money directly to the seller, because what are they going to do? They might go spend it. They might, that's not the order of things. You need to send it to the title company that's going to close the deal for you. So that title company ideally is going to be someone and they're going to follow the contract, and you're going to put in your offer contract. You're going to put in that let's say you're closing the deal in 2 weeks. You're giving yourself 2 weeks. You're going to put in the contract that that you want to have your due diligence period go up until 13 days. If you're closing in 14 days, make the due diligence deadline like 13 days. There's ultimately it's up to you and the seller to determine that. So unless the seller is balking at that, which usually they won't, you just put the due diligence period like right before you close. And as long as you pull out for any reason, here's the cool thing. I mean, if there's a crack in the sidewalk, you can cancel the contract. The seller may come back to you and say, look, what do you mean a crack in the sidewalk? Like there's a crack every, 14 inches. That's what sidewalk is, right? And you'll say, well, that crack is too wide. It had a little bit of dirt in there in the crack. I don't like it. And I mean, seriously, you don't have to really even give them a reason to cancel. For whatever reason you specify, especially when it's within your due diligence deadline, you can cancel and get your earnest money right back. No problem, no worries. And I mean, most states in the US make it so easy that for buyers to just get out of a contract for about any reason. So that's why, you're going to do your due diligence after you've got the offer accepted. Get the offer accepted and then do all your work, right? Because a lot of people, again, they go the opposite direction. A lot of people make the mistake of doing all kinds of analysis when the person isn't even open to selling, which is crazy. But, again, if they're open to selling, do some lightning analysis, which I'll go into a lot more depth in another training. And then do your heavy, hardcore due diligence once you've agreed in on a price that is at least close to what you need it to be. And then I would recommend at that point, if I would maybe get a realtor to check your after repair value, maybe two realtors, someone who's not going to make money on the deal, ideally, because you're going to get a much less biased response. So you're gonna verify that. You're gonna maybe bring a contractor, maybe two contractors to verify your after repair value. Make sure that there's no skeletons in the closet. Go maybe hire an inspector to come and really vet that deal. Right? You're gonna check the foundation, the roof, you're gonna check a lot of stuff during that due diligence period, which may be 10 to 14 days long. Um, so you're gonna go and execute on all your due diligence, which is the aim phase, right? You don't want to end up with the lemon property. You don't want to end up with more crap than you realized. Okay, but you don't have to go and do your hardcore due diligence until, hey, the seller is locked in. You're As long as you execute, the seller technically can't get out of that contract, and you could sue him, right? I mean, so do your hardcore due diligence after you've got it locked up. For one, it's way more efficient with your time. And secondly, the seller is committed now. So, they can't really back out without legal repercussions. So this is your time to really spend on doing that due diligence. And again, the great thing is, if there's anything you don't like about it, anything at all, just pop out of there. No worries, no questions. And that is how you really get some deals going. And so that's the ready, fire, aim strategy. And now I'm going to give you a little pro tip that goes along with this, because look, sometimes the seller is going to want more than you can pay for it. And do you still get those deals under contract? I would say, look, if the seller's wanting 100,000 more than you can offer, it's stupid to to go and do all this due diligence and stuff, because for the seller to move $100,000, it's probably not going to happen unless they're super motivated. But most people that are wanting $100,000 more than what you can pay for it probably aren't going to be your buyer, right? So the idea here is, if you're within maybe 10 or 20,000 or maybe even $20,000 of what you need to get it for to make it work for your numbers. And by the way, don't be so excited to get a deal that you fudge your numbers and you buy something that you shouldn't be buying, right? But look, if you know that you're within 10, 15, maybe even $20,000, you may still get it under contract. And here's why: because if you go and get an inspection done and there's a list of just like 20 items that the inspector comes up with, you can send it to your seller. The inspector will take pictures, give you all kinds of ammunition, right? Be like, look, this, and this are wrong with your property. And you can be like, look, any buyer is gonna look and see these same problems. You might as well just sell to me. The seller is gonna, he or she's gonna start counting the money that they're gonna make on the transaction. They're going to be excited to finally get out of that property that's maybe caused them problems. So there's some momentum when you get that thing under contract. That's another reason to get it under contract. You're getting that momentum, and then you're going to say, hey, here's the list of things, and you can either fix all these things yourself, right? Or I'm going to need a better price, right? And then you negotiate it down the rest of the way to the price that you need it at to get it to make the profit that you need to make, which I want to make at least a 10% profit on every deal. That's what that formula includes, right? So bring it down, like I had one of these where, I knew that they needed 225,000 to lock it in with me, sign a contract. I had a contractor come in, give a wild, kind of a crazy high bid, and then I just came back to the seller and I said, look, my contractor came in. I got this inspection report. It's gonna take more than I thought. I'm gonna need this property for 200,000, and they did it. I ended up making $78,000 on that deal. 78,000. So, you know, again, even if you get them initially to lock in at the price that you want, you can still use this method to get it down even further and give yourself a bigger margin. Because here's the thing, you're the one putting up the money, you're the one taking the risk. So you deserve to be paid. You want to be paid well for what you're doing because you're taking risk. So, um, so get that deal, get it under contract. As long as you're not too far away, get it at whatever price you need to. Obviously, the lower the better. And I got sessions on negotiating that we'll do. But then again, use that ready, fire, aim strategy. Go and do your due diligence. Bring the price down even lower. So let's crush it. So just to review some of the key takeaways today, the ready, fire, aim strategy is going to get you into multiple deals because you're not going to get stuck in an analysis paralysis mode. You can get your money, your earnest money back for almost any reason. That's what's so cool about this. You can get it back. And then you're going to do the due diligence. And ideally, you're going to go and have an inspection done and get the property. Either have them do a lot of the work for you, which isn't a bad thing, or get them to a big price reduction. So you're going to either get it at the price you need to, or you're going to get an even bigger profit margin for yourself through this ready, fire, aim strategy. I can't wait for you guys to try this out. And so go forward. Let's make it happen. Thank you so much for joining today, and have an incredible week.